Today I have a recipe that you're going to love, a smooth, firm, and delicious cream that you can use to fill and decorate your favorite desserts. And the best part, I'll show you how to make it step by step, both with a professional stand mixer and a hand mixer, so you can see that you can get spectacular results with whatever you have at home, and in just 15 minutes of work. Stay tuned until the end, because in addition to the recipe, I'm going to share super useful tips so it never curdles and comes out perfect every time. Leave me a comment telling me which country you're watching from. I love knowing how far my recipes reach, and in the meantime, let's start making it. I start by weighing the egg whites from 10 eggs, which total 370 grams, about 13 ounces. The 10 yolks, if you don't have a recipe to use them right away, don't waste them. Up here, I'll leave a link to a French cream or pastry cream recipe so you can make good use of them. Next, I weigh the sugar. This recipe is very easy to calculate. We will use twice as much sugar as egg whites. In this case, I'm going to add 700 grams, about 3.5 cups, of white sugar. I stir a bit to combine the egg whites with the sugar, and for now, I set it aside. It's important to mention that while you do this, you should already have a saucepan with water on the stove, heating up, because we're going to need it for the double boiler. Now, I prepare the unsalted butter. It should be at room temperature, meaning nice and soft, so when you press it with your finger, it sinks easily. I'm going to place 2 packages of 500 grams, 2 by 1.1 pounds, each in separate bowls, and I'll explain why later. I'm going to pasteurize all the egg whites along with the sugar in a double boiler. I take the bowl with the egg whites to the double boiler. It's very important that the bowl doesn't touch the boiling water. This is very easy to achieve, just make sure the bowl is larger than the saucepan so it remains suspended, allowing the steam to heat the mixture without direct contact with the water. Start stirring almost constantly. If you have a thermometer, the ideal temperature is between 65 and 68 degrees Celsius, about 150 to 155 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have one, don't worry, you just need to pay close attention to the texture and the temperature with your touch. The egg whites should be very hot, so much so that when you touch them with your fingers, they feel like they're burning a little. Additionally, you'll notice that the mixture will be very liquid and have a lot of foam on the surface. Once it reaches that point, I transfer the egg whites into 2 pitchers, dividing them equally. Quickly, without letting the mixture cool, I pour the contents of each pitcher, one into the bowl of the stand mixer and the other into a tall bowl to use with the hand mixer. I set and start a timer at the same time I turn on both mixers to medium speed or a little higher. On the stand mixer, with 10 speeds, I set it to 6, and on the hand mixer, with 5 speeds, I set it to 3. I beat for 8 minutes at this speed, then increase both to the maximum for 2 more minutes. In total, with 10 minutes of beating, the meringue is cool and firm, perfect for starting to add the butter. And let me tell you, just like this meringue can be used to bake meringue cookies, pavlovas, decorate cupcakes, or small desserts. It has the ideal texture. We continue with the recipe. I start both mixers again and begin adding the softened butter. 500 g, 1.1 pounds, to each bowl. I have clean hands and add large chunks to each bowl, distributing the respective amount of butter. If you prefer, you can cut it into small cubes and add it little by little. In my case, I do it this way because I don't want to stop the hand mixer. The idea of this recipe is precisely to show you that you can achieve the same texture and quality both with a professional stand mixer and a super economical hand mixer. This recipe is very easy to calculate. You only need 1 part egg whites, 2 parts white sugar, and 3 parts unsalted butter. There's no way to go wrong with this formula. If you're making a large batch, you can adjust it a bit, for example, use a little less sugar or butter, and you'll still get a great result. But if you're making a small portion, I recommend following the exact 1, 2, 3 rule to get it perfect. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Medium speed. Super useful tips so your cream never curdles and always comes out perfect. First, make sure the meringue is completely cool before you start adding the butter. If it's warm, the butter will melt and the mixture can curdle. The butter should be at room temperature, nice and soft but not melted or cold from the fridge, so it incorporates easily. If you see the mixture start to curdle, don't panic, you can recover it. Just stop beating, let it sit for a few minutes at room temperature, and then start beating again. You can also slightly warm the bowl in a double boiler for a few seconds and keep beating, and you'll see it turn smooth and silky again. Sometimes, it just needs more beating time. Don't stop if the texture seems off at first, the magic happens at the end. And if you're working in a very cold environment, you can warm the bowl from the outside with a warm towel or your hands to help everything come together better. This cream keeps perfectly in the fridge for up to a week, tightly sealed in an airtight container. You can also freeze it for up to 2 months, then bring it to room temperature and beat it again to restore its texture. One of the great advantages of this cream is that it holds up very well in warm climates. It doesn't melt easily and keeps its shape, making it ideal for decorating cakes or cupcakes even on hot days. If you liked this recipe, subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone you know will love it, and please leave me a comment if you've made any of my recipes or if you plan to try this one. And don't go just yet, because up next, I'll show you how to make a French cream, perfect for using up the egg yolks left over from this recipe. French buttercream is a refined technique that requires skill due to the delicate cooking of the sugar. It is an exquisite emulsion of butter and syrup widely used in French pastry to create a variety of irresistible desserts. Its unmistakable flavor and creamy texture enhance the character of each creation, adding a touch of elegance and sophistication to pastry making. Although simpler methods exist to prepare buttercream, this particular one stands out for its ability to deliver the best results and exceptional stability. Additionally, its versatility allows for the preparation of small quantities with equal success. Its smooth and firm texture makes it the perfect choice for covering and filling cakes, thanks to its ease of spreading evenly over each layer. Moreover, its consistency makes it ideal for piping bag decoration, allowing for beautiful designs with precision and detail. In summary, French buttercream is an important ingredient that elevates the art of pastry to new heights of exquisiteness. Procedure and correct steps. In a heavy-bottomed saucepan, place 250 g of granulated white sugar, 1 1/4 cups, and 100 milliliters of water, 6 3/4 tablespoons. It is essential to follow this order, first the sugar and then the water. The amount of water is minimal, just enough to moisten the sugar, therefore, we avoid overfilling. As you can see, I've set a timer so you can control the exact time needed to make this buttercream from start to finish with the indicated quantity. Prepare the ingredients. Place the 8 egg yolks in a bowl. It's crucial that they are at room temperature, so it's important to take the eggs out of the fridge a while before starting to prepare the French buttercream. Begin on low heat and let the syrup reach 120 degrees Celsius (248 degrees Fahrenheit). Around 100 degrees Celsius (212 degrees Fahrenheit), start beating the yolks at medium speed. Although using a thermometer is useful, it's not essential. To check the sugar's cooking, you can dip the whole of a spatula, most have one, into the syrup and blow strongly to form bubbles this way. This means the syrup is ready. It will take about 8 minutes for this quantity. Once the proper temperature is reached, remove the syrup from the heat and let it rest for a minute. Then gradually add the syrup to the yolks without stopping the beating. It's crucial to pour the syrup in a thin, steady stream. Once it's fully incorporated, increase the mixer speed and continue beating until the mixture cools completely. I use a common hand mixer to make the cream, but if you have a stand mixer, the result will be even better. Once the mixture has cooled, start adding the butter, 330 g, 11.6 ounces, of unsalted butter at room temperature, softened to a pomade texture. Do not use margarine. The butter should be soft enough to press with your finger but not melted. Gradually incorporate it in small cubes while continuing to beat until achieving a smooth, shiny, and perfect cream. If you add the butter while the mixture is still slightly warm, there's a risk the cream will turn liquid or curdle, so be cautious with this step. If you won't use it immediately, it's best to store it covered in the fridge. Due to the butter content, it will harden over time. To make it easier to handle, take it out of the fridge a while before use. It's important to note that this cream is not suitable for high temperatures. Avoid leaving it out of the fridge in warm climates. Regarding its shelf life, this cream keeps well in the fridge for about a week and can also be frozen, maintaining its quality for up to 3 months. Once the French buttercream is ready, it's time to flavor it if desired. You can add coffee extract, chocolate, praline, vanilla essence, or other ingredients of your choice. You may also leave it plain. This recipe yields approximately 600 g, 21.2 ounces, of buttercream. If you think you don't need that much, you can have the recipe. When the cream is ready, it has a flexible, shiny, and creamy texture. As you can see, for decoration, I use the Wilton 1M piping tip. If you live in a very hot area, I recommend filling piping bags and placing them in the fridge for a minute or less, depending on the cream's texture. However, keep in mind not to leave them for too long, as the cream will harden and become more difficult to handle for decoration. Here, I'll show you how to tint this cream and its resulting consistency. Once tinted, it does not change its consistency at all, it remains firm and perfect. In this case, I am using a large piping tip, number 1E. Furthermore, I'll demonstrate a cake decorated and frosted with this same cream. With this amount, you can frost and decorate a cake approximately 15 to 18 centimeters, 6 to 7 inches, in diameter and 10 centimeters, 4 inches tall, creating large rosettes. If you find my tips helpful and like my way of explaining, I'm delighted because many of you leave very positive comments and tell me that you finally achieve firm, perfect creams without curdling thanks to my tutorials. This fills me with joy, and I thank you for subscribing to my channel, sharing, and commenting. And don't go just yet, because up next, I'll show you how to make an Italian cream. Today we are going to prepare Italian meringue with butter and chocolate. This is one of the best buttercreams out there, and it is also the most widely used in the world of pastry, especially during the summer. Get ready to impress with this incredibly firm cream. Its consistency allows for flawless decoration using a piping bag. It is perfect for filling, covering, and adding a delicious touch to your cakes. It is delicious and adapts to a wide variety of desserts. First step, add 150g, 5.3 ounces, of softened butter. This is the texture it should have. Beat it for 1 minute and set it aside for now. The butter I use is unsalted butter with 82% fat content. Margarine will not work for this recipe. Next step, place a saucepan over medium-high heat and add a full glass of sugar, which is 200g, 1 cup, and less than half a glass of water, which is 70 milliliters, a quarter cup plus 1 tablespoon. Meanwhile, in the stand mixer bowl, add half a glass of egg whites, which is the whites of 3 eggs, and 1 packet of vanilla sugar, or 1 teaspoon of regular white sugar. As you can see, I set a timer. This way, I help you keep track of the time needed for each phase until we achieve this delicious Italian buttercream with chocolate. Also, keep in mind that if you decide to make a double batch, the time required for each phase will be slightly longer. Let the syrup boil over medium-high heat while also starting the mixer with the egg whites. This cream can be made perfectly with a hand mixer or a regular stand mixer. If you have a thermometer, the ideal temperature for the syrup is 115 to 118 degrees Celsius, 239 to 244 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have a thermometer, here's a trick. Take a spatula, most have a small hole in them, dip it into the syrup, and blow strongly. If you see bubbles forming, your syrup is ready. Look at the texture of the syrup, it's already quite thick, almost like caramel. Add 1 teaspoon of lemon-flavored fruit salt, mix a little, and pour it in a thin stream into the whipping egg whites. If you don't have lemon-flavored fruit salt or don't like it, you can substitute it with 1 teaspoon of lemon juice added to the egg whites while they are whipping. Beat at high speed until you notice that the bowl is warm to the touch. This is how the Italian meringue should look, firm and glossy. In total, it takes 10 minutes for this quantity. At this stage, it is perfect for filling, covering, and decorating cakes, cupcakes, and many types of desserts if you want to use it as it is. But let's continue with the recipe. We are going to add butter and pure cocoa powder to transform it into an ideal chocolate cream that is heat resistant. That means a perfect Italian chocolate butter cream. Next step, add the softened butter. I show it this way because by beating and emulsifying the butter before adding it to the Italian meringue, you won't have to mix for too long, just a few minutes until it is fully incorporated. This is how the cream should look: perfect, glossy, firm, and delicious. The total time so far has been 13 minutes for this quantity. This cream holds up at room temperature for 5 hours or more. In fact, it is the most used cream in warm climates during the summer, as it is very resistant to heat and humidity. In the refrigerator, it lasts for 7 days, and you can even freeze it for up to 1 month without any issues. You can also add melted and cooled chocolate, flavorings, dulce de leche, caramel, or extracts. Now, I am going to add 5 heaping tablespoons of pure cocoa powder. I will mix at low speed for 1 to 2 minutes, just until fully incorporated. And that's it. This cream, freshly made, can be used to fill or frost cakes. However, if you want to decorate with a piping bag, here's my trick: fill the piping bags and place them in the fridge to cool for a bit. Buttercream is usually very sensitive to heat due to the presence of butter, but when combined with Italian meringue, it gains greater stability. The meringue gives it a silky, light texture, allowing us to use less sugar. Despite containing a generous amount of butter, this cream does not have a greasy or buttery taste. On the contrary, it creates a stable and delicious frosting that pairs perfectly with cakes of various flavors. As you can see, this cream is incredibly useful, practical, and versatile. Try it out and let me know how it turned out. Don't forget to share this recipe on your social media so more people can enjoy authentic Italian meringue buttercream with chocolate. Subscribe for more sweet and delicious recipes. Leave me a comment telling me which country you're watching from. Let me know if you liked this recipe and what other recipes you would like me to include in my upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and see you soon.